Live. So, hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about the Défi 808 Bonneville. This year, I'm doing the 808, the 404 Bonneville. Sorry, and I'm trying to beat the record. And with me, I have Dany Bonneville, the owner of the Défi, the owner and the founder of the Défi. And I also have James. James is the record holder. He has done a crazy time on the course, less than 12 hours for 400K. It's crazy. It's more than 34K average. So, yeah, we'll just talk about how to prepare for the Défi. What is the Défi Bonneville? And we'll go from there. So, can you please introduce yourself, James, so we can know yourself a little bit?
Sure. So my name is James McNaughton, and the Bonneville was something that I used. I love the area. I love cycling in Mont Tremblant, but I talked to Dany, and he created an incredible race. And when I first found out about it, I told all my friends, and I was like, this is going to be the race that we have to go to. And then I was preparing for 6 and 12-hour time trials, and so the timing of this was absolutely perfect. Late September, and then Worlds for the time trial for the ultra cycling is in late October, early November. So it was the absolute perfect training race to tell myself and mentally confirm that I was in the right place to go to after that race.
Nice.
And races, may I add, races that you won, James. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to add, Dany. We just thought about the same thing. He's too humble. He didn't want to say it. I was like, say it. And Dany, can you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Dany Bonneville, the president and founder of the Bonneville 808 Challenge. The 808 Challenge comes from a race, the 508, which is 508 miles, which I've done a few times in Death Valley. We've been talking about a lot about Death Valley in the last few weeks. They've broke the record for the hottest place on Earth. So yeah, when I did the 508 through Death Valley, which was pretty extreme, I told myself I need to bring this to Mont Tremblant and to make the course as hard as possible. So the 404-kilometer course is probably the toughest hills, the toughest places you can ride around Tremblant. So I wanted really to make it a challenge. And also, I wanted to make it to raise some money for a foundation. And at first, I didn't know about the Fondation d'Athlète d'Excellence, but it was presented to me. It was presented to me by one of my friends. And when I met the people that work there, and also, and mostly the athletes, the student athletes, I really fell in love with all these student athletes. I was impressed with all of them, and we decided to make it happen in Mont Tremblant.
Yeah. So Dany, you live here. You live in Mont Tremblant. So you're pretty familiar.
I know. I still work.
Yeah.
I also build modular homes all around the world.
Yeah.
So I live in Saint Hilaire, but I come down here every weekend.
So you're pretty familiar with the area, I guess.
Very much.
We have like Dany talked about like the incredible course he built. So we have here like the ride, the Strava ride of James. So like you see, it's like 402K on this Strava. So James did it in 11 hours 42. It's more than 34K on average. It's crazy. Like I just like when I look at this in my head, I'm like, I can do this for half the time. For all this time, I'll need a lot of motivation. We'll see how it goes. But maybe James, my idea was maybe to walk us through the course, maybe a little bit in general. So like we see the course here, and how it's how it's designed. It's that you have 4 courses in one course. So each 400K about. You stop and you have a feeding station, and they take your time. So the courses are pretty different. I think that's one of the like super cool thing about the Défi Bonneville is that some courses are pretty flat, some other are super hilly. So Dany, I thought like the road like super well, better than we want anyone, I think. So can you just like walk us through the 4 different course, and maybe give us like 1 or 2 special thing about all of them?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So the 400 kilometers, like we saw, it's over 4,000 meters of climbing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first stage is relatively flat. And nothing's flat in Tremblant Blanc, but it's relatively flat.
Yeah.
So the first stage, it's a 95K, and I think you climb maybe 800 meters or so for that distance. But then the second stage, and that's where the hill starts. And James, I'm sure that you remember when you go through Weir and like the Cézille and Montée.
Oh my God!
You have times there.
I'm 200 pounds, so I remember those hills.
It's like 18%, 19%, 20%.
Yeah.
So those hills, they will impact you. So it's not just climbing at 3% for a long time. Those hills at 18% will put you in the red, and that's the danger. That's the danger when you're doing these long distances. Is how many matches can you burn, and that's what you have to manage through the 400K course. And the 800 course is how many matches do you want to burn at the beginning, because there's a lot of distance and a lot of hours to go to spend on the bike. So the second stage is pretty tough. And then the third stage, we head out. We go after the second stage. We're back in Tremblant. The third stage, we go back to. We hit the Nordet, the famous Nordet, and the Duplessis, going to Saint-Donat, and we go around Lake Poirot and Lake Archambault.
Super beautiful there.
Oh yeah.
The lakes also. Those lakes.
It's the world's largest bike path.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the first lake, the Lake Archambault, is pretty brutal. I don't know if you remember, but you're like, oh, I finished the Nordet, I'm gonna be good. I just have to come back home. But Lake Archambault is maybe, I don't know, like when you just start with one of the worst hills in the Laurentides. It's crazy. So
that circuit almost broke me. Like you get up there, and in your head, when you see the chart, it's this monster climb, and then up there it looks flat.
Yeah, exactly.
It only looks flat on the chart because you climbed up so much. Nothing's flat up there. Yeah. Like once I got back there, and you're in that circle. Oh God, that was hard mentally back there.
So just here on the screen, we have like your time. So like I said, each like 100K or something, we have like time splits. Yeah. So when we see at your average speed, you have like average 33K an hour for the 3 last stage, but the first stage you average 37. Was it like a strategy to go fast, or you just had a good win, or it's pretty flat like Dany explained?
Yeah, it's actually that first stage is like they're dangling a carrot in front of you and see how stupid you are. So it's so flat and nice, and the pavement's perfect, and everybody's new and excited, and you're starting with guys that are doing 100K, and so they're going all out, and you're there with the first leg of the guys who are doing 100K of a 14 relay, in your 4. So there's a lot of piss and vinegar. Everybody's excited, and you got to dial it back because it's flat. So probably going 40K an hour through almost everything, and you got to keep your power down because you got to remember, I got hills coming up. Especially for me, I was like, I got to be ready for these hills. But I also mentally didn't want to lose any stages. Yeah, I wanted to not only beat the 8 other competitors in the individual, I wanted nobody in the teams to be anywhere near me. So I wanted to make sure every leg of every relay got beat by me.
Right.
So, that was my target.
Okay, so that's why you didn't like.
Yeah, because the one team had this guy right out of the gates, and he and I Power Watts or something like that.
Okay.
He was just a monster, and man, I was battling him that whole first stage to get through, and then once I got through the first stage, it was just conserve now, damage control. how much did I burn? And then my goal was just to hold that 33.3 roughly for the rest. Because I think Dany had mentioned when I went in for the check-in, they said I had to have lights and everything on the bike. Yeah. And I said, I'm not taking any lights. And they said, well, if you come in past 12 hours, you'll get disqualified because it's going to be after dark. And I said, well, that's fine. If I'll be in under 12 hours. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy.
Okay, so that's what I have to do. I don't have.
No
if I
lights.
want to have a chance, no lights. Okay, that's good. I'm taking notes. So I want to talk a little bit about Dany right now. Dany, you're doing the 800. So in terms of pacing, like how do you pace 800K? Like if we look at your Strava ride, it seems like you're going faster in the first 400K, but like is it all mental for the last 400? Like how are you managing to just like hold the pace for the rest of the ride, I guess?
I think it's a different strategy when you go for the 808 because like every time when I finish the 400 kilometers and when we arrive in Tremblant, we arrive usually around 9 o'clock. So it takes us about 14 hours. The race starts after 400 kilometers for us.
Oh yeah, okay.
The first 400 is just a warm up. So
okay, so we're just doing the warm up, James. Like,
yeah, I know.
So that's your first ride on the screen. So you did like 14 hours and 4 minutes. That's pretty good.
That's fast. And definitely, again, what James was saying goes for us also. When you start off, you feel fresh. The first 200, it seems so easy. You want to push, but you can't push it because if you push, then you're burning matches that you don't have. Because at the end of the day, you're still, when you finish the 400, you got another 400 to do, and those hills will, the worst part is after 700 kilometers, you hit Lake Archambault again.
Oh my God. So are you still in the dark or you're in the clear now? Okay.
No, yeah. You hit the Weir and Lac des Cézilles in the dark.
Oh my God.
Lost River. The best place to be is Lost River. In the dark,
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of just like roll the first 400, and after that you just battle with yourself with like the last 400, I guess.
Well, I think the 800 kilometer race, they say 70% is mental, and then the other 30% is in your head.
Is in your head. So that's the second part on the screen. So you did like 16 hours and 22. So that's like 2 hours more than your other time, I guess. So you said that the hardest part was Lac Archambault.
16 hours. Plus there's a lot more stops. There's a lot more stops.
Okay.
Because, and what's tough for me? Everybody hits the wall differently. What's tough for me is you got to place your stomach. For me, I have not much reserves. So you need to eat so much, and you don't want to. You don't feel like eating, but you need to eat. So it's the maximum calories per bite that you need to take.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're going to deficit of calories. If you're burning 600 calories an hour and you're eating 200 or 300 an hour, so you're down 300 every hour. But after 20 hours, you're down 6,000 calories, which doesn't make sense. And that's where your body goes haywire.
Yeah, especially on the 800. I know that you can get away with like not eating properly on 200K. So can you be able to not eat properly on the 400K, James, or you just have to eat like each 30 minutes or?
So again, like the point of the training for me was to simulate the race that I was going to as much as I could, and the clock never stops, and so for me eating, I take only liquids. So I did the entire race on just liquids.
Okay.
I drank infinite. I have my own formula, 400 calories an hour. Like Danny's saying, I burn about 575. At that level of intensity, I burn about 575s, and I'm taking in 400. There's just no other way for me to get 400 calories in. When my body won't shut it down. If I try to eat almost anything, like I would eat, I have one Vega bar that I would eat per 200. So the first 200 I would eat.
So just one time?
A quarter of a chocolate bar basically every 100 kilometers just to have something physical in my body. just to sort of be there, and that was really, I wasn't sure. I just tested that out and it worked fairly well for me.
Okay. So
yeah,
you pretty much never stopped, like on the 400K, because like if we look at your ride, like there's like 10 minutes of like non-riding, but is it just like lost in transition or things like that?
So I would go through basically a bottle every 40 minutes.
Okay.
I could carry on the bike 4 bottles. So I'd have to stop around every 2.5 hours and grab nutrition. So basically I'd refill my bottles. And so it's about a minute per stop. And then there was some swearing when the vehicle wasn't there for me to get my nutrition or things weren't ready. So if you stop for more than a minute, there was a lot of swearing involved.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's the reason for the stop. So like someone was following you and like sometimes they were not there or things like that, because that's what a question I had for you guys also. I was wondering how the feeding
just a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
10 minutes of non-riding during a 400 kilometer
That's crazy. It's crazy.
I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, Adam, to try to beat this record. 10 minutes of non-riding.
And I know it's like, like I normally I stop when I ride, and like just last week I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try not to stop, and it will give me like 5 minutes of stopping, and in my head I didn't stop. So like when I look at your ride, I was like, 10 minutes of stopping is like nothing, like you don't feel it at all. Like on 12 hours it's just like you didn't stop.
Much. Like 10 minutes. That's a minute an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny that you say that you were able to do the whole ride just on liquids, because I remember the first time I did the 508. That's what I tried to do. I tried to have liquids and a DNF. For me,
the 508, you're doing 800 kilometers on liquids. That's
500 miles. It was
800K, yeah.
So it's the same thing, but I try to do liquids, and for me, it's I need the cheeseburger, the poutine, the pizza, all
I know that, Dany.
The great Christoph Strasser, who's still obviously annihilating records everywhere. He does a similar thing, only he doesn't do infinite, he does Ensure. So he basically is getting his meal, because he's doing the 24-hour plus RAM and all that insanity. And holds insane records and everything. But yeah, he's doing Ensure because he needs the efficiency of the liquid like I'm doing, but needs the sustenance of the food like you're doing, because he's doing it for longer. You can't survive on infinite, basically sugar and salt for 12 hours and no food. So yeah, there's definitely, once you pass 12 hours, which I haven't really, in a race format, I haven't gone past 12 hours yet. And you'd have to, my system wouldn't work. I'd have to adapt. I already know what formula would be. Christoph Strasser's nailed it, so I would jump on that, I think. But you never know until you test it, right? Some people do with gels, and some people don't.
So are you on gels, or you're just like packing everything in the bottles?
Me?
Yeah.
Infinite. Just it's like basically pre-made Gatorade.
Okay. So just infinite, and you just drink that, like you're not making something up with like gels in the bottles or things like that.
I have like 7 jugs of pre-made infinite, and I would stop with a funnel, pour it in, go. Try to keep the stops, like at Worlds, the stops were 15 seconds.
You're making me doubt like everything I have planned. Like I have planned, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna eat each 30 minutes, something solid, maybe one time an hour, and like you're telling me just to drink Gatorade. I wouldn't do Gatorade,
but I think in these races, the most important thing is you need to know yourself. You need to know yourself and know what you need, because what's good for one person is not necessarily good for the other person.
Yeah, I think that's a super good point. Like James, as you told me, like when we chatted a little bit, like 2 days ago, I think you said to me, like, pretty much like, don't take my advice because our background is just so different. Like I'm coming from a racing background since I'm so super young. Yeah. And like, then you explain from where you're coming. I think it's like amazing.
Yeah, it's a little different. So I was 257 pounds and had never done anything physical. And then decided to lose weight, started doing some running, got injured, met somebody who basically said, hey, you should do triathlon. And he taught me how to swim, and I bought a bike, and I was 36. So my first bike ride, I was 36. And I was dog shit at swimming, but when I got on the bike with him from day one, I was strong on the bike immediately. I mean, not like for a guy who just started, I was strong. And that just turned into, we kept doing the Ironmans, and I would be like last out of the water and last in the run, but I'd end up on the podium because I'd outbike everybody by an hour. So, and gradually as the weight came down, it got a little bit easier to do that. But yeah, I mean, I know you probably burn 100 less calories an hour than I do even. Like you wouldn't need as many calories throughout the race. Just size is different, let alone stomach and everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everyone, especially in nutrition, it's crazy how different it is. So, okay, I'll ask Dany then, because I don't think I'm just gonna drink all race. But Dany, what do you do like hydration wise, like when you?
Well, it depends on the temperature. So I'm someone who loses a lot of minerals when it's very hot. So I need to take a lot of salt pills when it's very hot and drink a lot. But last year I've noticed, I took a bit less salt pills and I drank a little bit less, but not that much less. And I noticed at the end of the race, all my face was swollen, my eyes were swollen because I drank too much. So when it's cold, like it's calling to be pretty cold, colder. Then you need to watch out on how much you drink. So maybe you don't need to drink as much when it's for me. Again, everything is personal, all depending on.
Okay, and like I want to switch maybe a little bit, talking about tapering and maybe just the preparation before the race, because normally when I'm racing like 100 or then 50K or something, I know it's going to be like super intense. It's not going to be my pace. I'm just going to have to follow people pretty much. So I have like some crazy high intensity stuff, but with the Défi it's just like super steady. So I wonder, do you guys are doing like a kind of like I guess you're doing a long taper because it's like a super long event, but are you doing like an activation or something, or you're just doing something else that I don't know about? Maybe James, you can start.
Well, for me, my training, the thing that actually got me from being like farting around on a bike to being able to go after the world records and stuff like that was discovering high intensity training. There was a few different athletes that I had been admiring and just blown away by what they were able to accomplish. And I found the high intensity stuff. My training going into the 12-hour was basically 6 hours of 1 minute intervals. Like 1 minute on, 1 minute off for 6 hours, 8 hours on the bike. Almost no steady riding. The only steady rides I did was the race to test whether it worked. And I didn't know. I really went into Bonneville thinking I could get on, try to do a steady pace and blow up, because I hadn't done a steady ride for 3 months before Bonneville. So it was all high intensity, and my taper was 4 days, because based on the data, the way my body tapers, my last hard workout was a week, 5 days before the race, and I didn't taper like a long taper. I can't do a long taper. I lose fitness too quickly.
Okay, and you're not doing like an activation the day before or 2 days before?
I went out and rode about an hour up Duplessis the day before.
Okay, just to get the legs back and everything. Okay.
Absolutely.
Are you doing a little bit the same, Dany?
Yeah, well, it depends on your age also. So the older you get, the more the recovery takes a bit more time. So of course, I try to start tapering maybe 10 days before. And then all depending on the volume, I also like a lot of intensity workouts, power watts, which I train. Pretty much have a lot of intensity workouts. Excuse me. So, but at least 10 days before, try to taper. We did a pretty crazy ride 2 weeks ago. We went to Quebec from Moronites, Quebec, which was 325 kilometers. And then we came back the next day. So the next day we had to win our race for 300 kilometers. Ask me when I will do this again. I will probably tell you never, because 300 kilometers with the wind in your face is not fun, not fun at all. So
Yeah, that's the thing when you go from Montreal to Quebec. That the first you feel good going out because the wind is in your back, but when you come back, it's just brutal. I was in the race for the Quebec Championship, and I unfortunately missed that ride. But yeah, it seemed pretty horrible. So we were just talking about just before going live about clothing, because here in Quebec it's fall right now, so it's like temperature are just crazy. It's looking pretty good, but it's still gonna be like pretty cold in the evening. Dany was saying that it's gonna hit maybe -4. So what are you guys like doing clothing wise? I think it's gonna be very different for both of you guys, because Dany have to ride all night pretty much, and if I'm on the right pace, I'll finish around 7 p.m. So maybe I'll just start with James. Did you go like all in skin suit, all right? Yeah. Okay.
Skin
Okay.
suit, aero helmet, and the only thing I added was I had full finger gloves for the morning.
Okay.
And you know what? When you're going that pace, I think
yeah.
when we started, it was about 7 degrees,
Okay.
and it was obviously chilly. I think I might have had like a vest on for the first 20 minutes that I threw away once I got warmed up. And at that pace, you feel it, but you don't notice it. Yeah, and like I don't have to deal with what Dany has to deal with going overnight. Like, and plus, like once you get past that point, like even 340K in, your body just starts to lose temperature. Like you're no longer burning hot, right? So you get 500, 600K in, even at full capacity, you're not burning hot anymore. Like your body's doing different things. You don't know what you need. It'd be
The heart rate doesn't even go up that much when you're at 600, 700 kilometers in. The heart rate, your body won't allow your heart rate to go up that much. You know, he would put a limit, a cap on a number, and then that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, because I look at photo and everything, and so you did it also only on your TT bike, if I'm correct.
Exclusively on my TT. I basically everything I used at Worlds, I did there. So all the same equipment. The only difference was monster hills. So you know, at Worlds I did 460 kilometers in 12 hours in 11:52. That's funny, actually. It's the exact same time. 11:52, 460 kilometers.
Oh
because there's only 4,800 feet of climbing, not 4,000 meters of climbing.
Yeah, 4,000 meters at like 16%, because you had your full wheel. So like, that's because I was talking about it, like thinking about it, changing bike. But after, I think I'm just gonna stay on the TT bike, because I know that like in the Nordais and Lac Archambault, maybe there's some places that you go faster on the road bike, but I'm just not sure it's worth the
amount of time. Yeah, there's a couple of hills that you could, if I was doing it to do for that race, I might consider if there's an option to hop off, do a road bike for the bigger hills.
Yeah.
But again, like, you know, you're giving up, you know, you crest that hill, bottom and top, you're losing at least 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So you've got to make up that 40 seconds on the road bike. And I just, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. And a guy like you just must feel like super great on your TT bike too. Like you're just.
At that point, I had ridden maybe 500 kilometers on my road bike that year, and 11,000 kilometers on my TT bike.
Oh, okay. So yeah. No, there's
no question.
Yeah, no question. And for you, Dany, I know you switch, but can you explain us like when do you switch? Is it on like your body sensation, or it's more depending on the hills?
Yeah, really on the hills. You know, of course, I'm trying to ride as much as on my TT bike as possible. The first stage is all my TT, and then when I get to Weir, and like they say, I will take my road bike, Montée Sainte-Marie, and after that, after Montée Sainte-Marie, I will get back on my TT and do a lot of the road on the TT. But of course, I'm losing a lot of time to change bike. You know, because when you stop and your personnel, your crew is changing back, there's always some loss of time. So, you know, the minimum of changes you can do is the best thing. The other thing that will make me change bike is towards the end. Sometimes I don't feel so good on either the road bike or the TT. some pain will appear on different places, not in the shoulders, maybe in the back or in the bum. So then you will change bike all depending.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
after 30 hours of riding, you get sore?
Just a bit. Just a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think I'll probably try to just stay on the TT bike and go with it and see how the sensation goes. And like you said, James, you better off like just cruising the hills than changing bike. Maybe if you just want to get like you just go high on the hoods and you just relax your back a little bit and your shoulder.
The big factor, a big thing that matters at anytime your speed goes up over 24, 25 kilometers an hour, it's all aero. It's little things. And over a race of that distance, it's about, you're in aero and the difference between this and this is 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Little things. So it's mentally the pain that you get into by tucking starts to increase, and it's the mental thing to force. What I do is I had little tricks. So I had my bottle in front of my bike, and if I couldn't feel the straw from my bottle on my nose, then I knew that I was drifting up. And you gradually, your body just starts to get in. So I'd realize it, and I'd be like, oh no, I'd get my nose. So I had little tricks to keep myself tucked in that aero position, especially when you're bombing down from Duplessis at 60 kilometers an hour for like an hour, which was amazing and painful at the same time.
Yeah, it's actually a great idea. I might add it on my bike because, like you said, like I always also remember like this to my mind when I'm like doing a TT or a TT race. Like I would better like have to push 5 or 10 watts left, and just have to tuck my head like just 2 centimeters more. It's just that you don't think about it. You just think about going hard. But so much more like smart to just like you said, like focus on the aero, especially on those distances like this, like 10 watts or 15 watts. It's like crazy difference.
Yeah.
A
lot of the riders from the UK are the ones that really I learned a lot from on the aero stuff, like Andy Jackson and Christophe and Marco Bello and those guys. Like they were the guys that held the records and they were the guys that taught me how to break their records. I mean, the tip of the hat to those guys, because I wouldn't have learned and been able to do what I did without them giving me their playbook, which I'm now giving to you.
I think I wanted to start with this, but I think that's like the beautiful thing about like ultra. It's this like you'll never see that in like another sports when it's shorter distances. I don't know why, but like ultra is like so focused on like self challenge that people just share to have other people, because like in other sports, like I know in road biking you're never gonna like explain to your competitor every tricks and everything, because you just want to win, and it's just this culture, I guess. But in ultra it's just crazy. Like I'm talking with the record holder to try to beat this record. Like it's it's nice. Like I love it. I love the kind of culture of it.
He'll be back next year.
I don't know.
If I'm able to do a good time, like maybe I'll spare. We'll see. I'll try my best, that's for sure. So that's pretty much it. I wanted just to finish like with maybe one question for you guys. There's gonna be hard and super hard moment in the 404 for me, and I have some phrases that I repeat in my head when I'm like in the deep end or things like that. I like to like repeat warrior in my head, just like to refocus my attention on what I need to do now. And I just wanted to know what you guys are doing. Like, so think at the moment for you, James, in the 404 when you were like, I need to slow down, and you, Dany, when you were like, it was pouring rain at 500 and something, and you were like, why am I doing this? So I wanted to maybe just start with James and know what's your mental toughness go-to, I guess.
It's interesting. It's actually the mantra, the thing that I would go through is thank you, is being thankful. When I'm out there and I'm suffering, 2 things. I'm thankful for that I'm able to do it. I'm thankful that I have the ability to go out and fart around on a bike and be out here and physically able to compete. So I'm thankful for that. And then I'm thankful, and this is a weird, I've gotten myself in trouble in races because I get in the middle of a race, I'm riding by another competitor, and I'm excited that I'm out there battling with this guy on this course. And if he's not there to race, I got nobody to race. And I get too friendly. in the middle of a race, and I'm yelling, I'm like, yeah, man, let's do this. Like, I'm excited. In a 12-hour time trial, some guys, they're in the hurt locker, they're not ready for that. So they but I'm thankful that there's other guys out there to do this, and thankful that a guy like Dany built a race course for us to do it on.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. Oh, that's amazing. I'll think about it. Yeah. Like I was doing just an event 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was like there to just help and like motivate people. And it was like 3 hours, and you had to do the most lap as you can. It was like just going up and down the climb. And in my head, I was like, okay, I gotta like cheer people up the climb, so I'm not gonna do like a great time or something. And like, I was cheering people like up the climb and I look after at my files, and I was like, there's no way I could have done better than this. Like it was, like just cheering people up and like keeping the good vibe and everything. Like maybe you think you're doing it for the other people when you cheer people, but like it's cheer yourself up to like when So thanks. And you, Dany, what's yours?
Well, the first thing, I try to stay in the moment. I try not to get ahead of myself, because if you start thinking there's 300K left, there's 400K left, or there's 200K left, so the first thing, I try to stay in the moment. And and a bit like James, I tell to myself, I'm privileged. I'm a privileged person to be able to do this and to be able to ride with all these amazing athletes around me. And privileged to take the start with all these amazing people that decided to put themselves through the grinder to be able to push themselves. So, and then sometimes I will just whip myself. Say, come on, get your ass over the hill and stop whining. And
I know about this one.
That also works pretty good.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be hard on yourself. Like sometimes you have to push yourself, like you push someone you care about, I guess. So I think that's finishing the conversation pretty good. Like and at the end of the day, we just have like the greatest satisfaction when we cross the line. I think that's the thing we're pretty much addicted to, and that's why we're doing this, is just like pushing each other to the absolute limit and like realizing that the work we did pay off. For me at least, like crossing the line is one of the most beautiful sensation, and in the Défi it's perfect for that. So thank you very much, guys, for doing that. James, thank you for giving me all your tricks that I'm gonna use and maybe other I'm not gonna use.
I can't wait to watch.
Hopefully I'll convince you to came next year. Hopefully I'll do a time that will force you, but I don't promise anything. I'll promise I'll do my best. And Dany, thank you very much for doing the event for the 4th years. I'm so excited to do it. I've been having help from the foundation since 6 years now. So it's crazy how much the foundation has helped me, and it's something that I care deeply about. So thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone that watch and see it in also in playback. It's gonna be on YouTube. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. And if you have something to say, say it. If not, we'll just go bye to everyone.
I just want to wish you the best of luck, Adam.
Thank you.
It's going to be a hell of a ride if you the other. James, thanks for coming and support us for 2 years, and again to be with us this year to talk a bit about your success. And definitely, we're saving a spot for you next year. I'm telling you, we're saving a spot for you.
I'm trying to get myself back into the riding shape. So I mean, I'm going to come. I'm back up there for sure. I'm missing it. So yeah, I've got to get up there and see that course again.
James, you know the 800-kilometer challenge. You can go a lot slower if you want.
Yeah,
that's right. A new challenge. Who knows?
Yeah, you're probably already registered. Like when Dany talked, like, hey, do you want to do the 400? Oh, by the way, you're doing the 400. So that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, James. Thank you, Dany.